More on this story. Yves Prigent from Amnesty joins me on the set. It's very good to have you with us. We touched on some of the details of the findings there. What more can you tell us about what came out of the report?
What's brand new with this report, considering all we already knew about conduct and the politics of the regime, is the scale. It's blatant now that the Assad regime is going on is pursuing a tactic of extermination of its opponents. There's no limits. There's no safeguards whatsoever. It's basically based on the killings, mass killings of opponents, whoever they are, wherever they're from, and whether there's actual evidence about their potential opposition of the regime.
So of those people who were killed, it's suspected that they were civilians believed to oppose the government.
It's consistent with the fact that the regime is conducting mass arrests, is using forced disappearances as a tool to repress the population. We're not talking about only soldiers or armed groups opposing the regime. We're talking about people in the streets, arrested in the streets, arrested in the house, based on false acts of denouncement for neighbors or whoever. It's enough for the regime to have alleged evidence or hearsay about the fact that someone is in opposition to it to be arrested.
Now, these findings must have been incredibly difficult to come by at a time when the political situation is so complex in Syria currently.
It is very complex to conduct as a research. The team conducting this research worked over a year to gather all this information. It's based on multiple sources of information. You mentioned the families of detainees, whether past detainees or people still in jail. We also had interview with former detainees now out of the country, but we also had interviews with people inside the regime, whether now they are living, some of them are outside the country as of now, but we talked with guards, with magistrates, with doctors who were part of the chain of extermination to be observed.
Now, look, these findings come amid nearly 6 years now of civil war. Where, if anywhere, can Amnesty International go with this damning report?
We want this not to be ignored anymore. We want this to be put on the table, whether it's pleasing for supporters of the regime or not. We have a duty for humanity to not to let this type of information lie in the darkness of the cells. So our first duty is to bring the news, to bring the information out on the open, and shed some light over it. And we want to be taken into account in the peace talks. We want it to be taken into account in discussions on Syria when it happens on the Security Council of the UN.
Okay, notably those are upcoming in Switzerland in a fortnight's time. Okay, Yves.